I started out in the state legislature. I was 29 years old when I was elected to the Illinois legislature. And this was the first thing that President Obama and I had in common when he came back to Chicago. We were both teaching at the university, and we were comparing notes on what it was like for him to be a state senator as when I'd been a state representative. I did 5 terms in the state legislature without parole, and then I went to the Congress in 1968, and I served 5 terms here, and President Carter appointed me a federal judge. And I got to know President Obama when he was just graduating from Harvard, and I wanted to hire him as one of my law clerks. And he sent word back that he was going back to Chicago and get into politics. Well, I didn't know that he'd ever had any background in Chicago, and I thought, boy, he's in for a lesson. You don't just plant your flag in Chicago and say, here I am. But when I came back to Chicago to teach, he was teaching at the University of Chicago, and he was already a state senator. One of my decisions that the president referred to was a case in which I said that the Naval Academy could not throw out somebody who was homosexual solely because he admitted that he was homosexual. They never accused him of any conduct, and he'd been first in his class and a real marvelous cadet, and they threw him out in his senior year and stripped away all his achievements and refused to graduate him. And I held that the Navy couldn't do that to him. Unfortunately, this was 1994, and the Navy and the court above me disagreed, and they never did give him his commission or his graduation. I think the best advice I received is I'd been in my first term as a legislator. They were 2-year terms, and I was running again, and I was sure that the party would not endorse me because I was considered a maverick. And I mentioned it to one of the city officials in Chicago, and he said, listen, the best thing you can do is forget about re-election. Just think about how much you're enjoying where you are, and if you lose, you can go back to making a lot of money and practicing law, but don't ever, ever worry about getting re-elected. And that was good advice.